今はただ、自分が持っているすべてを大切にできればそれで十分だと思えるんだ。
Classroom. Time passes swiftly, and it has already been almost a year since the school crisis ended. As your second year is coming to an end, life is only going to become busier now that you're entering your senior year. Although the class is still as relaxed and lively as usual, a strange emotion starts spreading as the final exams approach.
来週の部活はいけないかも。暗記しなきゃいけない英単語がまだ300個もある。
Weren't you really looking forward to next week's club's activities?
期末テストという名の魔王を前にしたら諦めるしかないよ。それに、もうすぐ3年生になるんだもん。これまでと同じってわけにはいかないよ。決めた。今日中に単語100個覚える。
Seeing Kiki clenching her fist to pump herself up brings a smile to your face, but it also makes you feel slightly wistful. Peace has returned after you've relieved the external pressures and defended the campus life you wanted. But as the entrance examinations loom and you get closer and closer to becoming an adult, some things no longer seem so pure to you.
そういえば、塾に通うからって部活やめちゃった子もいるみたい。あなたは？この前、机の上に塾のチラシが置いてあったよね。
That's just a random ad someone was handing out. There are so many supplementary class pamphlets being handed out at the school entrance lately.
そうなんだ。それもそうだね。あなたが塾に通って忙しくなって会えなくなったら、彼が不安になりそう。
What are you talking about? The meaningful look Kiki gives you makes you instantly realize that she is talking about Marius. With your studies getting busier, the two of you have been so wrapped up in your own schedules that you've barely had a chance to see each other. You've only managed to pass by on the sports field a handful of times, and each time, the school bell rang before you could even say a good morning. Students are only allowed to use phones on the weekend, and besides, you don't want to disturb Marius during this critical time when he's about to graduate. Although my phone will be bombarded with his text messages every weekend. To be honest, you're also trying to suppress your longing for him. When you occasionally see his familiar figure pass by through the window, you secretly look forward to locking eyes with him.
デリバリー頼んだ？先輩が呼んでたけど。
あ、噂をすれば。
You hear Kiki laughing and teasing you behind you, but you leave the classroom excitedly without bothering to explain anything to her. Sportsville. The sun is shining brightly above the field at noon, and students are sweating profusely while hiding under the shade of trees during the break. You look left and right while standing on your tiptoes, but can't find the youth who can instantly grab all your attention. Could it have been someone else? You suddenly feel something warm and fragrant against your forehead while you are deep in thought.
俺じゃなきゃ誰だっていうの？
Marius has sneaked behind you while you weren't paying attention and is taking advantage of his height to dangle a box of fried chicken over your head.
やれやれ。この火曜日限定のフライドチキンを買うために半日も並んだんだよ。お姉さん、さっきもしかして俺じゃなくて他の人のことを思い浮かべてた？
Marius makes an exaggerated aggrieved expression while expecting you to answer in negative, but it also makes you want to tease him. What should I say? Of course not. Before you finish speaking, he steps forward impatiently and continues the conversation with a smile.
やっぱり、お姉さんは真っ先に俺のことを思い出してくれたんだね。
Psst, I regret saying that now. Maybe I should take that back. He quickly shakes the fried chicken in his hands as bait. Maybe. Before you can finish teasing him, he anxiously seals your lips with his index finger.
お姉さん、もう一度よく考えてみて。
Marius shakes the fried chicken in his hands and winks at you slyly. That confident look on his face tells you he should know who the real beat is. Fine, I admit that I haven't thought about anyone else, but... Your fried chicken!
まさか、この俺がフライドチキンに負けるなんて。いや、フライドチキンだけじゃない。きっとあんたの中で俺は英語や数学よりも優先順位が低いんだろうな。俺がグラウンドで一生懸命気を引こうとしてたのに、あんたは問題集に夢中だしさ。あのスリーポイントシュート、ずいぶん練習したのに。
Three-pointer? Are you talking about that time? You recall a scorching afternoon when you were struggling with the last question of a math mock exam. It felt like you were suffocating as you stared at the geometric figures that seemed like tangled balls of thread, and the more you tried to unravel them, the more helpless you felt. After getting the answer wrong for the umpteenth time, you put down your ballpoint pen, feeling utterly dejected and defeated. Suddenly, something flies past the window, drawing your gaze, and then you hear the crisp sound of a basketball swishing through the hoop. A young guy in a white shirt wipes a thin layer of sweat from his forehead and flashes you a peace sign, his smile brighter than the morning sun. It's a pity that the teacher called me to the office in a hurry before I could respond back then.
あ、見てたんだ。よかった。それで、何かコメントとか感想はないの？
He pretends to cough casually, trying to hide the faint blush on his cheeks, but he can't resist sneaking a glance at you out of the corner of his eye. His desire to be praised by you is blatantly obvious. Comments, huh? Let me see. What adjectives should I use?
すごいとか？
Amazing? That one feels a little too common for you. I think there's something more suitable like...
例えば？
He leans closer to you and you find yourself captivated by his eyes that sparkle like stars. But before you can give him another answer, the rapid ringing of the school bell interrupts your precious break. I'll tell you next time. I have to go to class now.
はあ、お姉さんと一緒にいると時間が過ぎるのが早く感じるよ。
The stars disappear as he lowers his eyes. You raise your hand and tap him on the nose. Doesn't that mean you'll look forward to the next time we meet even more? I'll see you next time.
わかった。またね、お姉さん。
As you turn around to leave, Marius grabs your wrist and whispers in your ear.
世界が狭すぎて退屈だって思った時は、窓の外を見て。
Marius' words create ripples in your heart like a stone thrown in a calm lake. Classroom. When you come to your senses, you're already sitting in your seat in the classroom, absentmindedly drawing messy lines on a piece of paper. The homeroom teacher enters the room with a thick stack of test papers and prepares to announce the results of the last test. When your name is finally called, the teacher's comforting words and resigned sigh already reveal that you didn't perform well this time. Even so, your heart still drops when you see your score. I have done this question so many times before that I still got it wrong because of a careless mistake. And this one here, I can't believe I've missed a decimal point here. It's such a silly mistake. Your nerves throb as you press your hand to your forehead, feeling a bit dizzy and even slightly nauseous. You know that a decline in your grades doesn't mean you're a failure and that you just need to be more careful next time, but you can't help feeling frustrated. After glancing at the exposed corner of the supplementary class flyer on your desk, you succumb to the urge to flip through it before putting it back where it was. I better come to school earlier tomorrow for revision. Even though you've secretly decided on your next course of action, you find yourself feeling unmotivated for some reason. You thought you were mentally tough, but something seems to have given way without you realizing it. Study room. You arrive in school early the next morning, only to find that the study room is already full of people as the first light of dawn begins to brighten the sky. After finding a secluded place, you start to feel muddle-headed the moment you open your collection of mystics filled with annotations. Am I feeling exhausted because I was studying too hard for the exam a while ago? But the pressure I'm under now is nothing compared to what I'll face once I start my senior year. You pat your cheeks and focus on the collection of questions you answered incorrectly again to find out why you did poorly in the previous test. But as time goes by, the words in front of you start to move around like numerous crawling ants on the white paper. The air feels sticky and stifling, as if the walls are closing in and trapping you in a small space. No, if this continues, you'll have a breakdown. This must be what people who accidentally enter a swarm go through, the feeling that the more you struggle, the deeper you sink. While feeling lost, you suddenly remember what Marius whispered in your ear. Sportsville.
世界が狭すぎて退屈だって思った時は、窓の外を見て。
Garden. Taking his advice, you look out the window and feel a connection to the outside world as a ray of light penetrates the gap in the curtains. Acting on your urge, you fully open the curtains and lean out to listen to the sound of the wind, something you haven't done in a long time. It feels like you've rediscovered a part of yourself that had been lost. A part of me that had been lost? Why would I think that? While you're puzzling about that, you suddenly feel something stuck in your hair and reach up to touch it. To your surprise, you find a paper airplane there. On one side of a wing, you see a rose-colored cat entangled in a ball of yarn. On the other side, you see a purple cat running around and around in circle anxiously. Marius?
たまには先輩って呼んでほしいな。
Although Marius is younger than you, he's a young genius who skipped grades and is currently one grade higher than you. He talks to you through the window from the small garden outside the classroom, but the mechanical pencil in his mouth doesn't make him seem like a senior at all. Whenever you call Marius your senior, he feels good about himself and always responds by calling you Miss. You cough lightly and deliberately deny him the satisfaction. Why are you here so early? Are you here for club activities?
ただ静かに考え事をしたかっただけ。 自習室がいいと思ったけれど、こんなに混んでるとは思わなかったよ。みんな気合が入ってるんだね。
You sigh in response to the teasing look Marius sends your way because you don't know what to say. Everyone needs to face the entrance exams after all.
受験のために頑張る。か。
He murmurs non-committally.
でも頑張るのは、受験なんかのためじゃなくて、この先の自分の人生のためじゃない？
Marius instantly points out the source of your stress. After all, exams and grades don't mean everything in life. But as students, the time and effort you put in every day are measured by a series of numbers. And the options available to you in the future are heavily affected by these numbers. That's why you feel entangled by the vines of anxiety.
お姉さん、気分転換だと思って、河原にサボりに行かない？
Huh, skip class? Well, it's the morning self-study time right now, so strictly speaking, you wouldn't consider it as skipping class. However, to ensure the safety of students, the security department has an unspoken rule that once students enter the school gates, they can't leave until it's time to go home. But there are security guards at the front and back gates. Marius smiles and points at the fence of the garden.
ルールに縛られる人生なんてつまらないでしょ？たまには羽を伸ばしてもいいと思わない？
Marius jumps lightly, climbing onto the fence easily due to his height. You quietly gasp in astonishment even though you can hardly make out his movements.
よっと！
The fence isn't regularly maintained, so the railing shakes slightly, making a distressing sound when he jumps. Is this safe? Marius knows that you're worried about him but seems to want even more of your attention. So he suspends himself in the air with one arm. Awestruck, you feel as though the falling petals are suspended in the air, with time seemingly standing still around you. Marius. His movements are agile, making him seem like a wildcat dancing on the edge of danger. Yet his expression is carefree and laid back, and the look he gives you is showy and proud.
ふふん。お姉さん、今のかっこよかった？
The anticipation in his voice is unmistakable, making you feel like you can see a tail wig wagging behind him. If he isn't happy with your answer, you're afraid that he'll start doing a flare move on the fence. He's supposed to be your senior from a higher grade, yet he always acts so childish in front of you. But it's also because he is still as free-spirited as ever that touches you emotionally. You decide to respond childishly to him. That's so cool, senior.
お！
The wind carries your words to him. The fallen leaves fall in front of his hair, hiding the shy look that flashes across his face. He jumps down from the fence and curls up in the corner to hide his flushing cheeks from you. After a long time, he stands and leans against the wall and supports his head with his hand. Still blushing, he has a big grin on his face.
一緒に外の世界を見に行こう。お姉さん。
Riverfront. A winding river separates the school from the rest of the world. Marius and you stroll along the trail at the border, sharing tales of your daily lives with each other. Things such as interesting news stories circulating among your classmates, unexpected new travel destinations, and the gloomy feelings about your studies that you can't shake off. I messed up my last test. Almost all my mistakes were due to my carelessness. I need to go over the basics over the next few days to build a solid foundation so that I won't make the same mistake again.
最近ずっと思い悩んでるなって思ったけど、そういうことだったんだね。
Marius reaches out and touches your head gently. His palm is as warm as his words.
気持ちはわかるけど、この世に絶対はないんだ。それじゃかえって自分を追い詰めることになるよ。同じミスをしたっていい。同じ場所で2度転んだっていい。俺たちの人生は長い。些細なミスなんていくらでもカバーできるさ。
As he speaks, the ball of yarn in your heart starts untangling slowly. Noticing the frown disappearing from your face, he suddenly changes the subject and looks deep into the distance across the river.
そういえば、最近面白い都市伝説を聞いたんだ。
An urban legend?
そう。郊外に使われなくなった線路があるだろう。その始まりは知られてるんだけど、終わりは誰も知らない。線路に沿って歩いていった人は、突然消えてしまうんだってさ。それで、線路の向こう側は、異世界とつながってるんじゃないかって言われてるんだ。
Acting like a storyteller, Marius tells you the story of this urban legend, but you feel amused by how serious he's pretending to be. A few seconds after acting like a calm senior who can enlighten you with his words, he's back to his playful self again. You're telling me it leads to another world? Sounds like a fantasy to me.
いいだろう。俺たちはまだそういうのを信じてもいい年齢なんだからさ。まあ、俺は年を取って白髪になっても、未知のことにワクワクするような人でいるつもりだけどね。
Of course, I believe that time won't be able to change you. Marius pauses in surprise, then he beckons at you with a starlight flowing in his eyes.
あんたがそう言ってくれるなら、なおさら勇気を出さなきゃいけないな。
Muster up your courage. You're just on an inner city adventure. It seems a little exaggerated to use the word courage in this context. Marius probably wants to convey something to you through this, or maybe he's also worried about something. You said you went to the study room today to think about something quietly. Did you find the answer you were looking for?
いや、あそこは狭いし、目に入るのは白い壁ばかりで全然集中できなかったよ。参考書を読んでも答えが見つからない問題もあるんだ。だから、その答えを探すために、今週末は俺と一緒に広い世界を冒険してみない？
The vast world. You look back at the campus where the classrooms, fields, and cafeteria within the walls from the world experienced by students. This world may appear simple at first glance, but within it lie countless universes, your complex and delicate hearts that are rapidly growing and expanding. They must be aware that schoolwork and exams aren't everything in life, but there are also complicated human relationships and choices to make about real life. If you leave the world you're familiar with within these walls, where would you go next? While you hesitate, your body acts first as you take Mary's hand.
お姉さん？
It turns out that courage comes naturally when you're with certain people. Sure, let's go on an adventure. Office. On Friday, the busy week is almost over, and there's only one day left until your adventure with Marius. During the lunch break, you go to the office to fetch exercise books for your class and unexpectedly walk in on Marius having a conversation with a teacher. Seeing the serious expressions on their faces, you can't help but stop in your tracks.
泉、お前は勉強も運動も優秀な成績を収めている。この辺りの大学は経済分野で国内トップクラスだ。推薦枠はそう簡単に手に入るものじゃない。
ありがとうございます、先生。でも今後どうするかはまだ決めていませんし、経済学も自分には向いていない気がします。
これは教師ではなく、人生の先輩としてのアドバイスだが、一時的な感情で動くと損するぞ。ここにあるどの大学でもいい。入学さえすれば、確実に大手企業に就職できる。学費は全部免除されるから、家の負担にもならない。これは、お前の将来に関わる重要なことだ。もう一度よく考えてくれ。
The teacher sighs deeply and leaves the office. While you're still wondering if you should go up and talk to him, Marius suddenly turns around and smiles nonchalantly at you.
ああ、お姉さん。偶然だね。
I'm sure you knew I was here ages ago.
うん。あんたに話したいことがあったからちょうどよかったよ。
As he speaks, he takes more than half of the exercise books from you.
教室まで送るよ。
Garden. As there's still a lot of time until class starts, you both tacitly take a long detour instead of going directly to the school building. Very few people pass by the small garden in the backyard, and you can only hear cheering from the field occasionally, making this place feel even more peaceful and comfortable. Walking side by side, you deliberately maintain a slow pace.
お、この歓声シュートが決まったみたいだね。今年の新入生はかなり実力があるみたいだ。ああ、俺も久しぶりにバスケしたいな。
Haven't you been playing recently?
もうすぐ卒業だからみんな忙しくて、一緒にバスケをしてくれる人がいないんだ。ああ、自由にバスケをしてた日々が懐かしいよ。
Are you missing the Marius Van Hagen who spent all his time in various clubs and was suspected of being from a rich family? Because he didn't care about his studies?
ふふん、そう思われるのは、天才の定めだからね。
Although you always tease each other with your words, you don't have any reason to refute him this time. He really does have a unique temperament, incredible talent, and leadership qualities far beyond his years. You are well aware of his countless strengths, so you know that money alone could never make Marius the person he is today.
でも、ボンボンと思われる利点もあるんだ。俺が部活を掛け持ちしてることを、金持ちの道楽だと勝手に思い込んでくれるおかげで、いちいち説明する手間が省けるんだよね。
Only a few people know that Marius isn't as wealthy as rumored, and that he comes from an ordinary family. The truth is that he joined so many clubs to get scholarships and the opportunity to skip grades, not to have fun. Marius, the protagonist of countless incredulous speculations and mysteries, is more sincere and hardworking than anyone else. I haven't had the chance to ask him why he works so hard. You guess that the reason is related to his family, but you aren't sure if you should get involved.
黙り込んでどうしちゃったの？そうか、わかった。ようやく俺の魅力に気づいて告白しようとしてるんでしょう。
Marius Van Hagen? How can you joke at a time like this? I'm genuinely worried about you.
わかってるよ。
He touches your forehead gently, smoothing out the frown between your eyebrows.
実は俺の家のこととかを どうやってあんたに説明すればいいか悩んでたんだ。それに、いつもそうやって俺を心配してくれるから、どうしても甘えてしまう。一応俺の方が先輩なのに。
Well, I'm older than you, so it's okay for you to do that. You reach out to touch Marius, but the height difference makes it difficult for you to touch his head. He immediately lowers his head, putting the soft hair before his forehead against your palm and rubs it a few times by shaking his head.
じゃあ、そうさせてもらおうかな。お姉さん。うちの事情は、お姉さんが思うほど複雑じゃないよ。
Marius takes a deep breath and speaks even more casually than usual.
俺が生まれる前まで、うちは金持ちとは言えないけど、それなりの暮らしはできていたんだ。ただ生まれつき体が弱かった母さんは、俺を産んですぐに病気になり、長期入院することになった。治療費を捻出するために、父さんは家を売り、借金をして、さらに毎日必死に働いた。兄さんも家計の負担を減らすために、海外留学を諦めた。
Not knowing how to comfort him, you put your hand against his cheek to give him more warmth.
大したことじゃないよ。みんな何かしら家庭の問題は抱えてるって言うだろ。家族の幸せのために頑張ってる人ってたくさんいるでしょ。俺もそのうちの一人なんだ。そもそも、俺なんかよりもっと大変な人もいる。
Marius downplays all the hardships he's experienced in the past. Nothing amazing. Does that include when you force yourself to keep playing even after your wrist was dislocated by an opponent on the court? Or when you sneak into the study room late at night to study for advanced courses? Since when have you become unable to take your eyes off him? The more you look at him, the more you're attracted to the light he tries to hide so carefully. Without realizing it, you know everything about him. A chance to enter a top university doesn't present itself often. I've seen you staring at the posters at Florence often. Are you going to give up? Florence College of Art is the world's top fine arts school, as well as a place where Marius dreams of going.
夢と現実、どちらか一つしか選べないからね。フローレンスの学費を考えると、俺には選択の余地なんてないことがすぐにわかる。まあ、フローレンスに行かなくても、絵は描き続けられるしね。それにせっかくビジネスの才能があるんだ。それを生かさない手はないじゃん。推薦で大学に入って経済を学んで、大企業に就職して管理職にでもなれば、本当のお金持ちになれるかもしれない。お金があれば、絵の勉強もできるし、いいとこ取りだって思ったんだ。
He shrugs his shoulders nonchalantly. For some reason, you start to get angry at him and stare at him with burning eyes.
お姉さん。
Marius seems to have noticed that you're a little angry and tries to explain, but he doesn't know what to say. You sigh softly and pinch his cheeks hard with your hand. It looks like you're aware that you're not being honest with yourself. You were so positive when you were comforting me a few days ago, so why are you so awkward now? Marius doesn't resist as you pinch his face with your fingers. He parts his lips, making his words come out in a bit of a slur.
俺、ひねくれてるの？
You know your situation very well. You also know the future consequences of your choices very clearly. If you didn't, you wouldn't have instinctively avoided my eyes when you said you would have the best of both worlds. I'm a little concerned that you, the person involved, are trying to confuse me, the bystander.
嘘なんかついてないよ。
He knows very well that most of your confusion is caused by the aggrieved look he's giving you right now, yet he still chose to use this trick to win over your sympathy. You can't help but want to punish him a little more. With that selfish thought in mind, you pinch his soft skin gently. When you're worried about someone you care about, it's not troublesome at all. It feels more like a bittersweet happiness. Besides, didn't you say that you'll come crying to me about your troubles? Why are you backing off suddenly? Marius, this isn't like you at all. The dimples on Marius' cheeks curl upwards as he smiles in response to your goading words of encouragement. After that, he acts more brazenly. He leans down and rests his hand on your shoulder with just the right amount of force. His head doesn't feel heavy at all, but his soft hair tickles your neck.
負けたよ。お姉さん相手だから賞賛なんてなかったけど、最後の強がりも簡単に見破られるとはね。何を選択すれば後悔しないんだろうね。選択が正しいかは、時間が答えてくれる。だけど、その時間は、選択について考える余裕を与えてくれない。本当に残酷だよね。俺たちは立ち止まることを許されず、瞬時に進むべき方向を見極めなければならない。
His breath touches your ears as he speaks, making them feel slightly warm. The books in your arms keep you and him slightly apart. You two aren't exactly hugging, but it's close enough to lean on each other. You can't see his expression, but you can clearly see that he is trembling slightly. It seems that he is confused, just like you. No matter how hard he's trying to act mature, this is his first time experiencing this and the first life choice he has to make. You twist your finger around his curly hair, forming a small circle on your ring finger, and are surprised to find that you're starting to calm down. At least we have an adventure to go on together before the next surge comes.
うん。あんたがずっと俺のそばにいてくれるなら、どんな選択も怖くないよ。
In that mysterious world, you'll definitely find the lost treasure hidden deep in your hearts. Street. The weather is surprisingly good, which has attracted more tourists to travel around on the weekend than usual. At an intersection with lots of people, many unfamiliar faces bustle about in different directions without stopping. From where you're standing in the middle of the crowd, you keep searching for Marius' familiar face, almost being led in the wrong direction by those passing by several times. Even though we have shared our locations with each other, it's so easy to get lost in this crowd. Uneasiness and confusion creep into your heart. To be precise, you noticed these feelings a long time ago. As both your lives become increasingly complicated and you both meet more people, you'll find yourself navigating a web of intersecting paths. Will you still be able to notice each other with a glance like at your first meeting? I better call him to check where he is right now. Just as you're about to raise your phone, something dazzling purple flashes before your eyes. And before you can say anything, Marius taps your forehead gently. Marius?
そんなに焦った顔をして、俺のことを探してたの？
Yeah, there are so many people here. I never thought it would be this hard to notice someone who's 188 cm tall.
なるほど。お姉さんに見つけてもらうにはもっと目立たなきゃいけないんだね。1メートルのウサギの耳をつけるのはどう？
I'll be looking forward to that. Your nerves start to come after you hear the familiar teasing. As people keep passing by, Marius stands next to you quietly to protect you from being hit by them. He's wearing a light uniform like always, but his expression is more mature than when he's at school.
大丈夫。あんたが俺を見つけられなくても、俺が真っ先にあんたを見つけるからさ。
Your heart beats faster in response to Marius' confident and cheerful words. Fortunately, your feelings are hidden by the bustling crowd. However, he seems to have noticed something as the smile in his eyes grows.
そろそろ時間だ。行こう。これだけ人がいるんだから、はぐれないように。
Upon hearing his words, you subconsciously grab the corner of Marius' coat. However, he turns around awkwardly and extends his hand to you as his ears start to turn red. After snickering for a moment, you step forward and intertwine your fingers with his while praying silently in your heart. You pray that his pure and beautiful heart will never change no matter how many years pass by. Suburbs. After transferring twice on the train, admiring the scenery of half the city through the glass windows, you finally arrive at your destination. You find yourself at a farm outside the suburbs with a quiet environment and few people. To your surprise, the world seems completely different even though all you did was travel to the other side of the city.
例の配線跡は、こっちのはずだ。
Pushing aside branches blocking your way, you see a stone path hidden at the edge of the field. Marius leads you forward on the rugged road. Soon, a gust of wind blows down the swaying weeds, revealing a winding model railway in the distance.
あった思ったより分かりやすかったね。ここって持ってる人じゃないと見つけられないらしいよ。さすが俺たち。
Dustin, hey, you still haven't spilled the details of that urban legend yet.
ああ、どんな都市伝説かは今にわかると思うよ。見てて。
Marius takes a long piece of paper out of his backpack and starts to read aloud.
配線跡へようこそ。以下のルールに従えば、異世界への旅が始まるでしょう。その1、理想の世界を信じること。そうすれば次元の道は開かれる。その2、二人一組になり、手をつないで線路に沿って進むこと。
Are you sure you didn't just make that second rule up?
確かに。まあ、俺みたいな勝ち組には必要のない小細工だね。
He shakes your hand in his hand with undisguised pride, which makes you want to tease him again. We only held hands earlier so we wouldn't get separated by the crowd. I don't think it's necessary now. You try to pull your hand away with a little force, but Marius quickly steps closer.
ああ、ちょっと待って。今から次のルールを言うから。その3、一度繋いだ手は絶対に離さないこと。
Under your suspicious gaze, Marius smiles brightly while putting the note in his pocket. Then he leads you to the side of the track.
その4、振り返らずに前へ進み続けること。その5、手をつないでいる人に最も恐れていることを話すこと。
Marius, I'm getting a really strong feeling that you're just making this up.
気にしてどうするの？この世界のルールなんて全部誰かが決めてるんだからさ。俺の理想の世界に行こうとしてるんだから、俺がいくつかルールを決めてもおかしくないでしょ？
He looks straight ahead at the endless strike that really does look like it intersects with the sky at some point.
じゃあ、俺から始めようか。俺が何よりも恐れているのは、家族に本当の願いを知られることだよ。
Marius' palm suddenly feels colder, yet he still tries to comfort you with a relaxed smile.
口に出しただけで楽になったかも。いつかは自分の心と向き合わなきゃいけないって分かっていたんだ。両親も兄も俺を愛し守ってくれたから、今まで家の事情で苦労したことはなかった。俺がフローレンスに行きたいって言ったら、みんなきっと応援してくれる。でも、俺はそうやって無条件に愛され、応援されることが怖いんだ。こんなこと考えるなんて、俺って家族の一員としてふさわしくないよね。
Marius,
お姉さん、そんなに強く手を握られると恥ずかしいよ。
I can't believe you can still joke around at a time like this.
俺は大丈夫。はぁ、口に出したらすごく楽になったよ。信じられないなら、お姉さんも試してみたら？
Marius winks at you mischievously. Suddenly, you feel like you're just playing a game. Talking about your fears doesn't seem so intimidating anymore. My greatest fear. It should be the fear of loss. Sometimes I feel like it's better to never have something because then I wouldn't feel bad after losing it.
悲しむ。わかるよ。失うことが怖くない人なんていない。でも、人の心は有限だから、何かを失わないと新しいものを得ることはできない。
The serious mood doesn't last for long as he makes half a heart with his hand in front of his heart with the empty half facing you, which makes you laugh. It should be the fear of failure. Even if I'm mentally prepared, I feel disappointed and defeated when I don't meet my expectations.
挫折感か。失敗が怖くない人なんていないよ。でも、無理に目標を高く設定すれば、失敗する確率は高くなる。だから、目標を下げれば、相対的な成功を収めることができるよ。
Wouldn't I just be lying to myself?
いや、これは高度な心理テクニックだよ。こうすれば、成功するか失敗するかを自分で決められるんだ。すごいと思わない？
He raises his chin with a smug expression on his face, making you laugh. It should be the fear of separation. The more beautiful the memories of the past are, the more afraid I am of the day we have to part ways. I know I'll feel so lonely when that time comes.
寂しいか。わかるよ。離れ離れになるのは怖いよね。でも、たとえ離れ離れになったとしても、縁があるならまた一緒にいられるって、俺は信じてる。なんなら、俺はその縁を自分で結んじゃうタイプかな。
He shakes his phone, making you laugh when you remember how he bombards your phone with the text messages every weekend.
ほら、話したら随分気が楽になったんじゃない？
You nod in agreement as you really do feel less depressed than before. Maybe this is what happens when you confide in someone else. If the person you're confiding it to is important to you, the joyful mood will dispel your troubles even if you fail to find a
じゃあ
solution.
次はルール6だ。 このルールを守れるかどうかで、俺たちが異世界に行けるかどうかが決まる。心の準備はできた？
Marius has made the atmosphere so serious that you start to feel a little nervous. If another world really does exist, how would you and Marius meet? Something tickles your palm. It turns out that Marius is teasing you again. Just as you're about to tease him back, he wraps your palm tightly with his hand. After that, your vision begins to spin. Marius von Hagen! Marius pulls you as you both fall onto the soft grass. He cushions your fall with his body so you don't feel any pain, but you don't understand why he did that. Wait, we left the track. Doesn't that mean we broke the rules?
うん、そうだね。でも、
You look up at the sky as instructed by Marius. Your view of the world has changed with your perspective. Instead of seeing a narrow boundary line, you now see an endless, clear, and transparent blue sky.
転ばなければ見られない景色もあるでしょ。押し付けられたルールに縛られていると、視野が狭くなる。今見上げているこの空こそが、俺の行きたい世界なんだ。
It looks like you've made a decision.
家族に打ち明けるよ。何度か話そうとしたけど、いつも土壇場で言葉が詰まっちゃうんだ。夢を追いかけるって、なんだか未熟な考え方に思えちゃってさ。
Then do something mature about it. Florence has an early admission examination, right? Qualify for the early admission, and your talk about chasing your dreams will no longer be empty talk.
でも、推薦枠の試験って、合格率が信じられないほど低いんだよ。
Marius, are you afraid?
あれ？そんなこと言っていいの？自分の置かれた状況を忘れてるみたいだね、お姉さん。
The sudden change in perspective has made you forget that you're still lying on top of Marius. Just as you try to break free, he embraces you with one arm. Not one to show weakness, you quickly tickle his waist where he's most ticklish.
やめて。
I will stop until you are honest with me.
もう、ギブだ、ギブ。はあ、試験を受けるよ。悔いを残したくないからね。
Okay, then we'll both do our best. In that case, let's set a really ambitious goal for ourselves. Let's both aim to place in the top 10 in the school in the next exams.
異世界への旅が苦行の始まりになるなんてね。まあでも、あんたが一緒なら少しも苦じゃないけど。
Library. Several days later, Marius and you agree to meet again on the weekend, but this time you will be doing supplementary classes instead of going on an adventure to another world. After aiming to place in the top 10 of the school, this young genius has been showing off his top of the school grades in front of you every day. Eventually, you tearfully give in to him and start addressing him as your teacher in addition to senior. I can't believe all the seats are taken even though we came to the library so early in the morning.
テスト前だからね。頑張ってるのは俺たちだけじゃないってことさ。
Even the nearby coffee shops are full. I think we'll have to go somewhere else.
実はいい場所を知ってるんだけど。
Marius hesitates for a while before speaking hesitantly.
俺の家には参考書がたくさんあるし、誰にも見せたことのない極秘のまとめノートもある。おやつもあるし、俺は料理だってできる。味は保証するよ。それに、 父さんは休日出勤だし、兄さんも最近はインターンで家を空けてる。つまりうちは静かで勉強するにはちょうどいいってこと。他意はないからね、本当に。
As he speaks, an unnatural blush appears on his cheeks. You hold back your laughter and don't call him out. I don't mind if it's not too much trouble for you.
そんなにあっさり承諾していいの？もしかして俺、言わなくていいことまで言っちゃった？
Apartment. You arrive at Marius' apartment after walking for a few minutes. The apartment may not be spacious, but its simple, cozy layout makes it feel vibrant and full of life. When you look closely, you see sticky notes with beautiful handwritten reminders and instructions on almost every daily necessity. These notes were probably left by Marius and his mother.
男3人で家事をこなすのは大変でさ。何度このメモに助けられたかわかんないよ。
Although every family has its ups and downs, Marius can't help but smile when he talks about his family. He even tells you all sorts of trivial things about his family like he's showing off.
しまった。お姉さんと話してるとすぐに時間を忘れちゃうんだよね。どうぞ、遠慮しないで座って。
Marius gets you to sit next to the desk and attentively hands you a cup of tea and some fruit. You can tell he's no stranger to household chores, judging by the neatly peeled and bite-sized apple pieces.
俺が書いたまとめノートはここに置いとくね。この5冊のノートにある例題を全部やれば、試験なんて楽勝だよ。
Really? You open Marius' exercise books skeptically and start sweating after reading them for a few minutes. The first 3 exercise books are within the scope of high school learning, but the last 2 exercise books are about university courses. You've basically self-studied to the sophomore level. No wonder you can keep skipping grades. Marius, you've really taken studying to a crazy level.
俺のモットーは、やると決めたことは極める。だからね。それに、俺の苦行に付き合ってくれるんでしょ？
Yes, but the unexpected difficulty makes you feel uneasy. What worries you the most is your recently declining academic performance. As if he can sense your worries, Marius leans closer with a smile and blows gently into your ear.
お姉さん、もしかして、おじけづいてる？
His words sound more like a bewitching whisper than a taunt. You retreat instinctively, but you still put on a brave front. Taunts won't work on me. I'm not afraid, it's just that we don't have much time. You still need to prepare for the early admission exam for Florence. You shouldn't waste your energy on me.
お姉さんのために使う時間は1秒たりとも無駄じゃないよ。それに、絵の基礎なら誰にも負けない自信があるんだ。まあ、フローレンスに入るためには、基礎ができているだけじゃダメだけどね。努力ではどうにもならない。インスピレーションが必要なんだ。俺のインスピレーションの源は、誰だと思う？お姉さんになら教えてあげるよ。俺のたった一人のミューズ。俺の心を奪った女神。俺の...
Before Marius can say anything even more embarrassing, you quickly block his mouth with an exercise book. It's time to study, Marius.
今日は、泉先生と呼ぶべきじゃないかな、お姉さん。
Your heart skips a few beats. You might be immune to Marius' taunts, but you are still susceptible to his other tricks. apartment. Outside the window, the bright sunshine gradually dims as the sun sets. Marius' teaching method is unique and interesting, and he always manages to make you laugh with his wonderful metaphors. Coupled with the interesting and vivid illustrations, you memorize the boring knowledge before you know it. You usually feel listless after attending even one class, but somehow you don't feel tired at all this time. You even feel a little thirsty for more. Has anyone ever told you that you'll make a good teacher?
実は、こうやって誰かに勉強を教えるのは初めてなんだ。そんなに気に入ってくれたなら、お姉さんの家庭教師として長期雇用してくれる？授業料は無料。さらに今なら3食付きだよ。
At first, you think Marius is just joking like always, but then you notice him looking at you seriously.
これから毎週こうやって勉強会をしたいんだけど、ダメ？学年が違うから一緒に卒業はできないけど、俺は卒業した後もお姉さんと一緒にいたい。いつか俺たちは年齢の差を超えた共通の目標を見つけられると思うんだ。
He parts his hair and places his forehead against yours. You never realize that the stars in his eyes could appear even brighter than usual when he is this close to you.
あんたが何かをなくした時は一緒に探すし、失敗も一緒に乗り越える。それから、絶対にあんたを一人にはしない。だからお姉さん、もう何も怖くないよ。あんたは知らないかもしれないけど、俺はずっとあんたのことを見ていたんだ。そして、心配していた。
Those seemingly unintentional glances you've shared between classes, the constant stream of greeting messages popping up on your phone, and those seemingly coincidental encounters. All of these incidents are filled with his unvoiced thoughts and concerns for you. Your relationship has never been a one-sided one. I know, because I'm the same. His forehead becomes hotter after you speak. To your surprise, Marius, who always takes the initiative, is now panicking because of what you said.
お姉さん、急にそんなことを言うなんて反則じゃない？
Well, I do know all your weaknesses very well. Turning the tables on him, you put your arms around him instead. I watched every match you played, but I was often drowned out by the crowd. I took photos of every photo of you on display in the school gallery and put them together into a little booklet. I think carefully before replying to the text messages you sent to me.
ストップお姉さん！心臓が爆発しそうだよ。お姉さん、どうやって責任を取ってくれるわけ？
Marius sounds like he's acting cute even when he's begging for mercy, which makes you enjoy yourself even more. I also would often stop by the swimming pool to remember everything we did for the abandoned school and our chance meeting. These bits of daily life are beautiful memories that you gradually neglected and forgot due to your studies. They are the very things that enrich your heart as you head toward the future. Now that you've found them again, you realize that your world has never been as small as you thought. I'm not afraid anymore. Thank you for always being there for me, Marius. Now it's my turn to be there for you. Marius places his cheek against your hand and rubs it gently.
じゃあ、今から電話をするから、そばにいてほしい。
Park. The sky looks like an oil painting in the sunset, a scene you've seen many times before in Marius' paintings. The light of the sunset is as gentle as Marius' brushstrokes, Bathing in the afterglow, you feel like you've entered one of his paintings. You said you want to make a phone call. Who are you going to call? Amid the many wind-blowing ripples on the lake, the figure in the water trembles gently. He clutches his phone tightly and takes a moment before he responds gently.
家族にだよ。面と向かっては言えないことも、電話なら言える気がするんだ。
Are you going to tell your family that you'll be taking the admission exam for Florence?
本当は受かってから話そうと思ったんだけど、お姉さんと話して気が変わったんだ。俺たちは大切な人のことをちゃんと見てる。その人がどんなに頑張って隠し事をしても、見てる側からすればバレバレなんだよね。でも大切な人を傷つけたくないから、あえて気づかないふりをする。
Marius squats down and stirs the water with his fingers, drawing the infinity symbol.
だから単純なことも複雑になってしまう。前にも同じことがあったんだ。兄さん、留学を諦めたことを俺と父さんに隠しててさ。俺、実は兄さんが隠し事をしてるのに気づいてた。でも、タイミングが合わなくて話せなかったんだ。今でもあの時に自分の気持ちを兄さんに伝えられなかったことを後悔してるんだ。兄さんがどんな道を選ぼうと、俺は絶対に応援するって言いたかった。
Love makes people afraid to expose themselves. It also gives people the courage to overcome anything. You hold Mary's hand gently. Suddenly, the wind stops and the water becomes as calm as a mirror. He takes a deep breath and presses the call button after making up his mind.
どうしたっけ？こんな時間に電話なんて。
The call is answered after a few rings. You can vaguely hear the voice of the speaker on the other side. You try to give him some space, but Marius holds your hand tightly. He looks at you pleadingly, like he doesn't want you to leave.
父さん、実は、相談したいことがあって。それなりに難易度はあるけど、どうしても挑戦したいことがあるんだ。ただ、ちょっと心配なことがあって。
それって、フローレンスに通ったら家計の負担になるかもってことか？
え？兄さん？なんで？
バカだな。お前がフローレンスに受かったら、新聞の一面で宣伝してやりたいぐらいだよ。お前は何も心配するな。うちはまだそこまで落ちぶれてないぞ。父さん、K に言ってやってよ。強がるなって。
Jian rumbles on for some time. During this time, Marius' head is lowered and he doesn't say anything. The phone is then transferred to Austin.
ああ、夜中にこっそり家を抜け出して美術室に行くのはやめろ。私が車で送る。
いや、それはいいよ。父さん毎日遅くまで仕事して疲れてるだろ。
担当していたプロジェクトが一段落ついて、これからは少し余裕ができそうなんだ。ヒロもいい仕事を見つけた。海外赴任のチャンスもあるそうだ。それから母さんが話したいそうだから今電話を代わる。
母さん？待って、父さんそれって。
Marius starts panicking even more than before. Suddenly, a strong gust of wind blows, rustling the leaves around you. You can't hear what the person says on the other side of the phone at this moment, but you see Marius' eyes gradually redden. His hand starts to tremble, but he holds you even tighter.
大丈夫。強がりなんかじゃないよ。 母さんも体に気をつけて。俺の卒業式に出席するって約束したでしょ？
You're really tempted to reach up and touch Marius, but you're also worried that you'll interrupt his heartwarming moment. Marius seems to notice why you're hesitating. He takes your hand and wipes away his tears while smiling with the tenderness of a gentle breeze, making time flow again.
うん。必ずフローレンスに合格するよ。
The art room. The exam season is finally over. Marius and you are both holding a folder with your results in them and are waiting to reveal your grades at the same time.
緊張する？
I think anyone would be nervous at a time like this.
実は、俺もちょっと不安なんだよね。3、2、1で一緒に開けようよ。それから結果がどうであれ、紙飛行機にして飛ばすってのはどう？
Is this another weird rule like the ones from those supernatural stories?
うんうん。これは悩みを捨て去る魔法だよ。じゃあ、行くよ。3、2、1。
Your eyes locate the school rankings on the piece of paper the moment you open the folder. Unable to contain your joy after doing far better than you expected, you jump up and hug Marius. I did it!
お姉さんならできると思ってたよ。
He subconsciously whirls you around several times with his hand around your waist due to the inertia of your movement. After you calm down, you realize that you seem to be hanging on Marius like a sloth. Oh no, I got too carried away. Marius, put me down already. Marius is blushing when he puts you back down, but he doesn't want to admit defeat.
大丈夫。俺は鍛えてるから。お姉さんを1時間抱えたままでも平気だよ。信じられないなら試してみる？
What about your transcript? How did you do?
ああ、封筒を開ける前にお姉さんが抱きついてきたからまだ見てないよ。これで不合格だったらせっかくの雰囲気が台無しになると思わない？だからまずは紙飛行機を飛ばしてお姉さんを祝おうよ。
Marius' studio is littered with drafts and discarded drawings. Every stroke on the white paper is filled with months of hard work and emotions. Depression, boredom, regret, fear, and other negative emotions exist vividly on the paper in front of you. Marius and you sit back to back on the floor. You supported each other like this on countless difficult nights. You fold the test papers representing the troubles of the past into paper airplanes of various shapes and fly them everywhere in the studio.
結果はもちろん大事だけど、俺はそれが全てだとは思ってないんだ。人生は一度の失敗で終わるわけではないし、一度の成功で最後まで順風満帆に進むわけでもない。厳しい旅でも、あんたが隣にいてくれるなら、立ち向かう勇気が湧くんだ。
His gentle hair caresses your ear, and without any effort, it tenderly soothes your heart. Whatever result Marius gets, you'll be there to celebrate with him and comfort him. You fiddle with a draft paper filled with densely packed equations in your hand and try to fold your own paper airplane.
そういえば小さい頃、自分が作った紙飛行機が兄さんのより遠くに飛ばなくて、不機嫌になったことがあったな。
You got upset over that?
うん。自分が折った紙飛行機が今一つだと思って悔しかったんだ。でもその時、兄さんが俺の紙飛行機を改良してくれたんだ。 母さんは翼に無限大の記号を書いてくれて、父さんは肩車をしてくれた。みんなで力を合わせて、紙飛行機を遠くまで飛ばすことができたんだ。
It must be because they carry the blessing of your family.
そうだね。
Marius keeps watching the paper airplane circling about in the air until it lands on the windowsill.
お姉さん、俺は世界で一番幸せな人間だよ。だって、素敵な家族がいるだけじゃなくて、一生一緒にいたい人にも出会えたんだから。今はただ、自分が持っているすべてを大切にできればそれで十分だと思えるんだ。
Although this youth seems to be favored by the world, you hope that he receives even more love and blessings from the gods. You hope that the paper airplane in his hand can fly out of the window into a bigger world. You take the paper airplane in Mary's hand and kiss it gently.
お姉さん、急に何を？
He looks away nervously as if you had kissed something else and not the paper airplane. This is a magic spell to give you good luck. You throw the paper airplane and watch it circle around before landing on Mary's folder. Coincidentally, a corner of the folder opens up, revealing the word admitted. Congratulations, Marius! With love added to the skills of his dreams and reality, he no longer needs to make sacrifices to achieve balance. He smiles widely and gives you a big warm embrace. If love is eternal, life becomes a gentle voyage, effortlessly sailing over all obstacles.
お姉さん、いつでも指示を出してくれていいからね。ずっとお姉さんの隣にいて、一秒も離れたくないよ。時間が過ぎるのは本当に早いね。この後も何か予定があるの？休憩を挟んだ方が集中力が上がるよ。大丈夫。俺はどこにも行かないから。ゆっくり進めていいよ。